two-back. So they complement each other very well. It's just some nights one might have a little more success, but I don't think it's a one-back versus a two-back thing. I think it's our offense, and you better be prepared for all of it.
Talk about this week's practice. Coming off a big win, is there a little bit more pep in the step, a little more juice at practice?
Yeah, I thought the first couple of days of practice were really good. I mean, things were flowing. It kind of took a little dip Wednesday. We didn't have our best day, but I thought the kids came back today very focused, and we had a good practice today. So.
Wrapping up right now with Coach Joey Dwyer. Coach, I'm not going to ask you for the game plan. I know y'all want to be, multiple and do different things. I just want to know, like Chance Babineau, I don't want to ask this question to Gavin every week, so you get the question this week.
All right.
Is he somebody that you're going to get a little bit on offense more as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it before. I mean, Chance has free reign as long as he can play as much offense as he's capable of playing for us. I mean, he's a primary defensive guy, but as often as we can get 7 out there on our side of the ball, we're going to take it.
I want to get the ball number 2's hand too, Coach.
Yeah,
he's pretty special.
Yeah, he's pretty good too, man. He's a good one. And we got a bunch of good ones that we can get the ball to. So,
all right, Coach, I'll let you go. I appreciate your
right,
time. Looking forward to getting you back on real soon.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll be back.
Wrapping up right now with Joey Dwyer. When we come back, it's going to be Gavin Peters. We're going to turn our attention to the LCA Knights right here on the Karen Crow Bears Network.
Chaos, causing havoc and overwhelming sound. Chaos is what gives stadiums intimidation. All the great stadiums in the world have it. From all the way back to the Roman Coliseum, all the way to today in Death Valley. Even here in the open-air Crow Dome. For decades, these stands brought its own chaos. Everyone packing the stands, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, bringing a sort of energy that can only be described as such. With the sound of screaming and chanting so loud, you can hear it from a mile away. This is what makes the Crow Dome one of the best places for all of high school football. But now, the group has come to reclaim its name and reputation. The Chaos Committee. All Karen Crow High students are part of this group. And this season, we have a special offer for them. For $25, the Chaos Committee can purchase season tickets and a Chaos Committee t-shirt. And for adults, season tickets for $50. See Miss Brenda in the boys' gym. So this season, let's get loud, let's get crowded, let's get hyped, let's get chaotic. Go Bears.
Never thought that we would outgain.
Welcome back to the GP. Are You With Me, Karen Crow Coaches Show. Coach GP and I were looking at the stats from last week. He said he was so involved in LCA right after the win, he didn't even get a chance to look at the stat sheet.
Yes, sir.
We'll take a look at the stat sheet. He was kind of amazed by some of these numbers. I'm talking about hyper-focus over here for this season. So, Coach, Coach Joey Dwyer just told us that the attention turn, there's pep in the step, there's excitement, but you want to keep a certain level of confidence and swagger, but you also got to play back down to reality. Talk about balancing that mindset going into the game.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, this isn't the first big game or big victory that I've been a part of, and so is the rest of our staff. So we've been here before, right? Our players haven't been here before, as far as most of the guys that are out there on the field that have produced that win. So the challenge for us as coaches is to get this team to understand that you have to move on. What you've done in the past has no bearing on what you do in the future. Okay, if we want to go out there and play well this Friday, then we have to prepare well this past Monday through Thursday, and the same thing again the next week, and then the same thing again the next week, and the next week, and the next week. So as Coach Joey mentioned, I thought that the energy was good and the enthusiasm was good early in the week. I don't like the way it ended, and we've got to be better. We've got to be able to put together a complete week of practice. We've got to be more mature and have more discipline about how we operate. We've got to understand that everything impacts everything. I'm talking about getting to school on time, behaving in class, learning installs, okay, getting to bed on time, being respectful to your parents. Everything impacts everything. And we just had some issues that you normally have with high school students this past week that just disappointed that we're having those issues when we're in the situation that we're in. We've created a tremendous opportunity for us to have a legendary season, right, and to go out there and be special, which is always the challenge and always the goal. But you have to be a champion before you win a championship. And the challenge right now is getting this team to be champions every single day in every aspect of their lives. And that's the challenge that we're facing right now. And that's why they call us coach.
And look, the team you're playing, they know how to win. They've been here before. They are, I wouldn't call them a blue blood just because they haven't done it with the longevity yet, but they're on getting to that level.
They're a modern blue blood, modern day blue blood, for sure.
They were able to beat Rummel last week, 27-26, after starting kind of low. They have a special quarterback in Brandon Walker. They got tons of talent. They know how to win. What separates this group of Knights versus the years before?
Well, it's kind of funny. You talked about the Rummel score, right? I think when we got on the bus, somebody said LCA beat Rummel, and they told me the score. I said, ooh, that ain't good. You know, I already knew we had our hands full because I have the utmost respect for Archbishop Rummel and the job that they've done in the program that they operate. So, and then once you turned on the tape, you just realize why. You realized how. Braylon Walker is a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal competitor. I have the utmost respect for him and his family. We go to the same church. His dad and I have grown close, have a lot of respect for each other over the last couple of years. And then Braylon Allen, the receiver, right? Currently committed to Tulane, I believe. Picked up a lot of SEC offers towards the end of the summer, moving on into, the fall. I think the world of him. He's a phenomenal young man. I got a chance to meet his dad within the last couple of years and also his mom, and he has an unbelievable family as well. So, I just got the utmost respect for those two kids. And my frat brother, Dustin Miller, his nephew is Caden Bellard, the running back, and Dustin texted me early in the week, and I got a lot of respect for Dustin. Dustin was a great player at Opelousas Catholic, played baseball for us right here at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. He's currently state representative. Bellard is a heck of a player. The list goes on and on, right? Sky Ryan back there in the secondary, number 15, who's adding to that lineage of the Ryans and the Falks. And Luke Green. I think the world of Luke Green, man. He is an unbelievable football player. He's all around. He's also committed to UL. And Coach Mitch Kraft and Coach Chop and that whole entire staff, they have done a phenomenal job with this team, and they've done a phenomenal job with their program. They've had a lot of turmoil, right? Or they've had a lot of turnover, within the last, 3-4 years. And for them to be able to sustain to keep the kids involved with the program, be able to sustain the level of success that they've had, and then also right now be primed to go out there and compete for a championship in their classification. They can compete with anybody in the state of Louisiana, and that's a testament to the school, the coaching staff, and the players, and especially the senior class of players that they have with Braylon and the two Braylons and Luke, and I think Sky is a junior, so he's a class underneath. But they just got a phenomenal team and a phenomenal group of young men.
They call it the Battle of University, Coach. It's a school right in your backyard. Talk about how important the game is just from the perception aspect.
Well, I think it's very important. Coach Sebo mentioned how this is big as far as for an opportunity for the future of our program and the future of our school. I haven't been shy about saying this. There's a lot of families who their uncles and dads and aunts, et cetera, that went to Carencro High School, and now they're sending their kids to LCA, David Thibodeau, Turlins Catholic, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a lot of respect for all of those schools, but we want Carencro people back in Carencro. Okay, we want our Carencro people to come back home. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of continue some momentum to get our people back home into Carencro. We want the people that the foundation and the fabric of Carencro High School, we want those people back into Carencro High School, and this is an opportunity for us to take the next step in doing that.
And they got a trophy this year for the Battle of University. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know many high schools that do that. Is that going to be on the sideline, and the winning team's going to go over and get it after the game?
Yes, sir. So Coach Chop actually sent the picture of it today. He did a really good job on designing it. Him and I discussed this in the offseason of calling it the Battle of University and creating some type of award that's transferred from year to year. If the team keeps winning, then whoever wins it, that's who's got it for that year. I think the Archbishop Shaw and Rummel Raiders have the Battle of the Megaphone that's been going on for maybe 3 or 4 decades. That's a pretty cool tradition there. There are some colleges that have it, right? Or maybe Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Is that the Egg Bowl, maybe?
Bowl, there's a bunch of them at the college level.
So there's a bunch of it. So I think it's pretty cool. And what I enjoy the most right now is the respect that the two schools and the organizations and the programs have for each other. I've had the opportunity to talk to Pastor Jay a few times this week. He actually came by today, and he was up there in the press box right when we was practicing. So I screamed for him. I said, "What's up, Pastor Jay?" I said, "You ain't got no cameras on up there, huh? I got to watch you." So, but I just got, and Coach Chop, man, he's been very, very awesome to work with and very awesome to talk to. You can tell that the respect is mutual, and I've just got a lot of respect for the job that he's done with his program and his team. And, even though like I said, there's families that are, I think Barry Baldwin, right? He's the athletic director over at LCA.
He's all district center here.
That's right, and he's on our wall inside of our school, So, it's kind of unfortunate there, but, we're not going to shy away from the fact that we want our people back in Carencro.
Now that we have the trophy and we got the game established, this is a game we want to keep on the schedule moving forward.
Oh, we've already agreed. It's going to be week 1 for the next 2 years. Yes, sir. No, we can't beat it, man. Great competition. 2 minutes down the road. We're going to both have great gates when we play at home. It's going to be minimum, the lowest expense you can have in travel just because you're right down the street. So, no, this is definitely a game that's going to continue for years to come. And so we've already got it mapped out to play week 1 the next 2 years.
That's awesome. I couldn't agree more. I think it's great for the community, the kids, the 2 schools. It's very important to keep that going on. And you talked about all the stars they got. The college offers are through the roof. How are they able to kind of keep – you mentioned the turnover. They turn over staff, they turn over players, but it's the same look each and every year. How are they able to sustain that success in such a short window and just keep it going?
Well, I think one of the great advantages that they have is that they're a K-12 school. They're a K-12 school, so it's one band, one sound from, what kindergarten starting at, 5 years old? So just imagine that. Just imagine having access to – I wish I had access to kids from 5 years old all the way up, to when they were a senior in high school. So I think that plays a part, right? And they just did a tremendous job. They started at a lower classification, was able to kind of build themselves up. They market themselves extremely well, and they're a Christian school, right? That's very attractive to families that want a religious foundation involved in their kids' education. So they've just done a tremendous job, and they've seized the opportunity that they had, and they did it at a critical time. They did it at a critical time where Carencro was kind of in funk a little bit, Northside was kind of in funk a little bit, and it was just kind of the perfect storm of events for them. It was a great business move, So, mad respect to them, and I have the utmost respect for what they've done and what they've accomplished.
You talked about good gate. I think atmosphere tomorrow has potential to be pretty elite. You talk a lot about wanting to bring back the energy that you saw in the stadium in the early 90s through the 2000s. Talk to our folks back at home and tell them why they should come out to the Crow Dome and how important it is for you guys to have that energy to play behind.
Well, I believe that we have one of the most iconic programs in the state of Louisiana. One of the things that myself and Seth Dickerson has been working on is creating a digital media guide, because for some reason within the last 10 to 15 years, you started seeing all these different bears represent Carencro. And there's no bear that represents Carencro. I'm pointing at the wrong one, my bad. The C represents Carencro, right? It's the most iconic logo in Lafayette Parish. You go anywhere in the state of Louisiana, and when they see that gold C, they immediately identify it with Carencro. And the connection is Carencro football. That's what the connection is. The connection is Carencro football. The Open Air Crow Dome, Kevin Falk, Damian James, Wade Ritchie, Derek Beavers, Ernest Lazard, Lucas Taylor, Alonzo Landry, Alex Johnson, Jalen Nixon, Coach Barus, Coach Rip. We're blessed. We're blessed. We're blessed to be a part of this great program, and I just think that what's happened is our community has become fractured, right? I talked about how a lot of the people that went to Carencro in the 80s, the 90s, and 2000s were now their kids and grandkids, nieces and nephews are no longer at Carencro. So a lot of the faithful people that were in, or faithful families that were in the stands in the 90s and 2000s, well, now they in the stands at Turlins. Now they in the stands at LCA. Now they in the stands at, David Thibodeau, even though they don't have a football program, but basketball and baseball, So it's just unfortunate that it's, kind of gotten chopped up and kind of got fractured up a little bit. But we're going to die. We're going to die trying to get our people back. We're going to die trying to get our people back. And, we've been able to run a quality program on the football field, for at least 7 or 8 years that I've been here, or maybe 6 out of 8 years. I want to count that first year 7 because we ended that first year 4-1, and it was kind of to be expected, the tough start that we had. But we were competitive in every game, a lot like a year ago, right? So we've been running a really good program now for at least 8 consistent years. And the coaching staff right before, Coach Corfield and I came here did a tremendous job as well, Coach Falk and Coach Evelyn. So, this is a great program, and we just got to get our people back in it fully, all around and get our kids back into Carencro School, starting with Carencro Heights and then moving on to Carencro Middle School and then finally finishing off at Carencro High School, like you did, correct, Blane?
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, challenging you guys to come out to the open-air Crow Dome tomorrow night for a classic matchup. Carencro versus LCA is going to be a big one. Coach, talk about tomorrow before the game. What does that look like for the kids? How do you keep them light? How do you keep them, not as tensed up and ready to focus to play?
Well, I'm a man of routine, right? Like, I don't like change very much. So we've got the same routine that I learned from Coach Davidson when I was at Acadiana High School in 2010, and we've done the same thing every single year. When I came, I brought it over here. So during athletic PE, obviously we'll have walkthroughs in the gym where we'll kind of walk through all special teams and also walk through a little bit of offense and a little bit of defense. And then when the bell rings, we'll all be lined up in the bleachers, seated in the bleachers by 2:45. Then we'll eat from about 2:45 to 3:15. Then we'll have walkthroughs for a little while. Then we'll rest. Then we'll start dressing, and we'll walk out. I don't know, Coach Joey's in charge at that point. He's got an itinerary. Coach Corville, he just did a tremendous job with organization. And Coach Corville always had an itinerary for us. So whenever he left, I said, Coach Joe, we got to keep that itinerary thing going, man. It just kind of really details, everything ironed out all the way to kickoff, So Coach Joey's kind of in charge after we finish walkthroughs, and he's got that itinerary for us. And, I think it's a good plan that works well for us. And so that's kind of what we'll see on a Friday night at home. If I'm not mistaken, this is our first time competing at home this year outside of Westgate.
Yeah.
Outside of scrimmage versus Westgate. So it'll be a little bit different. We'll have a pep rally tomorrow that I love. Our link crew, phenomenal part of our campus. Students, older students, I think it might be juniors and seniors, who are helping the young kids get acclimated within the high school. So we had link crew leaders that went by every class today during P2, and they talked about prepared our kids for the pep rally tomorrow. And one of the first icebreaker questions was, what's your mentality, or what are you like during the pep rally? Are you chilled? Are you hype? Are you this? Are you that? Well, I told them, I said, externally I'm chill, but internally I'm hype. I love pep rallies. I love the band. That's what makes high school football. I used to get pissed when I first got here, and we would show up to games on Friday night. I tell Miss Ellis this all the time. We would show up to games on Friday night, and the band would not be in the stands. That used to tick me off. I love the band, man. I always, I grew up in New Orleans, right? Parade season, et cetera, et cetera. There's a part of me, man, and I don't know, maybe if I wasn't in the sports, in the athletics, man, I might be, in that marching band, brother. Yeah, I might be in that marching band stepping, so.
I think my daughter Grace goes to the games just for the band.
So
we got to have the band
sir.
so Grace can keep
Brown,
coming to the
man.
games.
Shout out to Dr. Brown. So, yes, sir.
Hey, before I let you go, though, we are honoring a very special person, part of the program tomorrow night, doing the Lifetime Achievement Award. This year it's going to be Miss Brenda Olivier, that's been with the program since before my time around this place. So talk about how important she is to have somebody like that as part of the program, and how special tomorrow night's going to be for her and her family.
I always talk about how big of a Coach Nick Saban fan I am, right? So I listen to every single press conference the last 10 years of his career, like every single one of them, every single press conference, every single coach's show, radio show. And he mentioned one time that the true testament of your value to a place is if you aren't present and if you aren't there, will they miss you? Well, unfortunately, Miss Brenda's husband passed away a year ago, and she was out for about a week or so. And when I went to go see her at the funeral home, she said, Coach, I still got my job, right? You didn't give my job away, right? I said, Miss Brenda, and I told her the story about what Coach Saban said about the true testament of your value to a place is, do they miss you if you're gone? I say, Miss Brenda, I miss you, Miss Brenda. Look, Miss Brenda, I respect what's going on right here, right now. Condolences to you and your family. But as soon as you get back to work, Miss Brenda, please get back to work. A part of me is missing without having you there. And, it might be some times when she has to have some appointments, or, she might be sick with an illness or things of that nature. And when Miss Brenda's not there. When Miss Brenda's not there, and I don't like operating without Miss Brenda, and I want to keep her around as long as possible, and I think that she truly enjoys the program that we have now, the work and the detail and the effort that we put into everything, the respect that we show her. I don't make one decision in that program without consulting with Mama Bear. She is the longest tenured person on Carencro High School's campus right now. Her and Mr. Callier, who works with us every day, who I think Mr. Callier has been at Carencro since the late 70s or early 80s. So Mr. Callier and Miss Brenda are the two longest tenured people at Carencro High School's campus. And thank you, Miss Brenda. We love you so much. I've been talking to the kids all week about how this game is for you, and we want to go out here and we want to honor you. You've been it over backwards, and you've given your life to Carencro football since 1992 and prior before that. So tomorrow night is about us doing the same and rewarding you back. And we truly thank you for everything that you do, and we hope to have you for a long – we've already had you in this program for a long time, and we want to keep you as long as possible. We love you, Ms. B.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Best of luck tomorrow night. Super excited to get to the Open Air Crodome for the first time this year.
Yes, sir. Go Bears, baby.
And also want to thank my guy, Dylan Romero, Carencro first-year head baseball coach who joined us, offensive coordinator, Coach Joey Dwyer. You're going to be able to see us next week here on Thursday night before the Zachary game for the GP Are You With Me show. Now, tomorrow night, kickoff 7, pregame 6:45. You'll be able to hear us live on Mustang 107.1 as well as right here on the Carencro Bears Network. See you then. Go Bears.